Welcome to English in Fluency. I am Alex, and I am so glad you decided to join me today for another deep dive into the real English that people actually use on the streets, in cafes, and in offices all around the world. If you have ever felt frustrated when listening to native English speakers because they seem to mumble, "stop," "start," or use strange little words that do not appear in your textbook, then this session is specifically designed for you. We are going to focus on B1 English listening practice, but with a very special twist. We are not just going to listen to slow, perfect sentences. Instead, we are going to recognize common fillers and hesitations so you can understand natural speech better. I want you to imagine that you are having a conversation with someone. They are speaking English, and you understand most of the words, but then suddenly they say something like, uh, you know, or like, and your brain stops. You panic. You think you missed a vocabulary word. You wonder if like is a verb in that sentence or if it is a preposition. This is a very common feeling for learners, but today I want to change the way you hear these sounds. These are not mistakes. They are not bad grammar. They are the natural rhythm of speech, and by the end of this session, you are going to use them to help you follow the conversation, rather than letting them confuse you. We are going to explore the world of hesitation sounds and filler words. Think of these words as the lubrication in the engine of English. They keep the conversation moving while the speaker is thinking. When you understand this, you will stop trying to translate every single and and start focusing on the important message. We will listen to several dialogues between different characters, and I will break down exactly what is happening in their minds when they make these little noises. Let's start by meeting our first two friends, Sarah and Mike. They have just bumped into each other on a busy street in the city. They have not seen each other for a long time. As you listen to their conversation, do not worry about catching every word. Just try to get the general idea of what they are talking about, and pay attention to the little sounds they make in between their sentences. Sarah sees Mike and waves excitedly. She says, "Oh, hi, Mike. Wow, it's been ages, right? How have you been?" Mike looks a bit surprised but smiles immediately. He replies, "Sarah, oh my gosh, hi. Yeah, it has been a really long time. I am good, I think. Just, working a lot." Sarah laughs and nods. She continues, "Yeah, same here. Actually, I was just heading to get a coffee. Do you want to come with me? We could, catch up a bit." Mike checks his watch and hesitates. "Oh, I would love to, really, but, I actually have a meeting in, 15 minutes, so maybe later?" Sarah looks understanding and says, "No problem, totally. Let's try to meet next week then." Mike agrees, "Yeah, that sounds great. Let me check my schedule and text you." Now, let's take a closer look at what just happened. In that very short dialogue, there were so many natural fillers. Did you hear Sarah say, and like? When she said, it's been ages, she was not saying a vocabulary word. She was just buying a fraction of a second to think about what she wanted to say next. It is completely natural to pause before you say a long time. She also used the word like when she said, we could, catch up a bit. In this context, like does not mean to enjoy something. It has no meaning. It is just a filler word to soften the suggestion. It makes her sound less direct and more friendly. Then listen to Mike. He used and you know. When he said, I am good, I think, just, working a lot, the phrase, you know, is a bridge. He is assuming she understands what working a lot is like. He is connecting with her shared human experience. Later, when he is checking his watch, he uses and actually to delay giving the answer. He is trying to be polite because he has to say no to the coffee. Saying, I actually have a meeting, sounds softer than just saying, I have a meeting. This is the secret to B1 listening. You need to train your brain to filter out these sounds. If you are reading a transcript, you would see all these words, but in real-time listening, your brain should treat like, and you know, like background noise, or maybe like musical beats in the rhythm. Let's try another example. This time, we will listen to a slightly more formal situation, but you will see that fillers are still everywhere. Meet David and Lisa. They are colleagues working in an office. They are discussing a new project that is starting soon. David is trying to explain a complicated idea to Lisa. David leans back in his chair and says, So, regarding the new marketing plan, I was thinking that, we should probably focus on social media first. I mean, it is the fastest way to reach people, right? Lisa looks at her notes and taps her pen. She responds, Right, okay, that makes sense. But, what about the budget? Do we have, enough money for ads? David scratches his chin and thinks. He says, Well, that is a good question. I think, if we cut costs on printing, we can sort of move that money to digital. You see what I mean? Lisa nods slowly. Yeah, I see. So, basically, we are shifting everything online? David smiles and points his finger. Exactly. That is the main goal. Let's analyze this workplace dialogue. David is trying to sound professional, but he is still human. He uses, I mean, when he says, I mean, it is the fastest way. I mean is a very common filler used when you want to clarify what you just said, or you want to add emphasis. It signals to the listener, wait, let me explain this better. Lisa uses the word sort of when she says, we can sort of move that money. Sort of or kind of are softeners. They show that maybe she is not 100% sure, or she does not want to sound too bossy. It makes the statement less definite. She also asks, do we have, enough money? Again, using like to introduce a question. If you were taking a test, you might ignore these words. But in real life, these words give you emotional clues. When David says, well, at the start of his answer, it tells you he is about to give an opinion or a hesitant answer. It is a warning sign that he is thinking. When Lisa says, basically, at the end, she is summarizing. She is saying, let me make this simple for you. Now, let's talk about how you can use this knowledge to improve your own speaking. When you listen to English, do not let the ums and ahs stress you out. If you hear a speaker say, just take a breath. Relax. That speaker is buying you time. You can use that split second to process the words they said before the It is like a small gift of time. If you hear like or you know, just ignore it. Pretend it is not there. If you remove those words from the sentence, the meaning usually stays exactly the same. I was, so happy is just, I was so happy. Do you, want to go? Is just, do you want to go? Let's try a listening exercise together. I am going to speak for a moment about my favorite food, and I am going to include many natural hesitations. I want you to close your eyes for a second and just listen to the flow. Do not write anything down. Just listen to the rhythm. I love pizza. It is, probably my favorite food in the world. I mean, who doesn't like it, right? But, the thing is, it has to be, like, really good pizza. Not the frozen stuff. I am talking about, fresh dough and, lots of cheese. My favorite place is actually near my house. It is sort of hidden away. So, like, not many people know about it. But, if you ever visit, I will, I will definitely take you there. Did you hear how the sentence kept flowing even with all the interruptions? The message was clear. I love pizza, especially fresh pizza from a hidden place near my house. The fillers did not hide the meaning. They just added a conversational, human texture to it. Let's meet another pair of characters, Sophie and Ryan. They are planning a trip together. This dialogue will feature a different type of hesitation, one where the speaker is searching for the right word. This is very common for B1 learners and native speakers alike. Sophie is looking at a map on her phone. She says, "Okay, so if we go to the beach on Saturday, we should, leave early. Like, really early, because the traffic it gets really bad after 9 o'clock. Ryan is drinking coffee and looking out the window. He says, "Yeah, that makes sense. But, what about the hotel? Did you book it yet?" Sophie sighs. "Oh, that is on my list for today. I was, I was going to do it this morning, but I, totally forgot. I will do it right now." Ryan nods. "Okay, good. Because, if we wait too long, we might, we might not get a room. And I really don't want to, sleep in the car." Sophie laughs. "Don't worry, I am on it." Here, Sophie uses "that is on my list." The hesitation, "Oh, that is on my list," shows she is remembering. She is accessing her memory. Ryan uses to emphasize the consequence of waiting. Because, if we wait too long, he is appealing to common sense. He also hesitates with, we might not get a room." He is visualizing the bad outcome. One of the biggest challenges for B1 listeners is distinguishing between a filler word and a real word. For example, the sound can sound very much like a or the if you are not careful. Context is your best friend here. If someone says, "I have a brother," they are not saying, "I have a brother." You know that is just a pause. Similarly, like can be a verb, a preposition, or a filler. If they say, "I like pizza," it is a verb. If they say, "It is like huge," it is a filler. If you listen to the word that comes after like, it can help you. If a verb follows like, it is probably a verb. If an adjective follows like after a comma, it is probably a filler. Let's listen to one more complex interaction. This is between a student, Emily, and her teacher, Mr. Thompson. Emily is nervous about asking a question. Emily stands by Mr. Thompson's desk. She clears her throat and says, "Excuse me, Mr. Thompson, do you have a minute?" Mr. Thompson looks up from his book and smiles kindly. "Of course, Emily. What can I do for you?" Emily plays with her pencil nervously. "Well, it is about the homework. I didn't really understand, the last part. The part about, history." Mr. Thompson nods and closes his book. "I see. Which question exactly? Was it, number 5? Emily shakes her head. "No, not 5. It was number 7. The one about, the kings." Mr. Thompson stands up. "Ah, okay. Let me explain that one. It is actually It is quite simple if you look at the date. In this conversation, the hesitation shows respect and nervousness. Emily uses and because she is speaking to an authority figure. Mr. Thompson uses fillers, too, to show he is taking his time to answer her respectfully. He is not rushing her. He says, what can I do for you? Repeating the sentence structure. This is called a restart. It is a very natural way to correct yourself in the middle of a sentence. You start a phrase, change your mind, and start again. As a listener, you only need to remember the finished version. What can I do for you? So, how can you practice this on your own? I encourage you to watch movies or TV shows in English with English subtitles. But here is the trick. Do not just read the subtitles. Listen to the sounds. When you hear an or an look at the subtitle. Often, the subtitle will ignore it completely, or it will be written as If you see that the subtitle sentence still makes perfect sense without that word, you know it is a filler. You can also try listening to podcasts. Podcasts are great because they are usually unscripted conversations. You will hear more ums and uhs in a podcast than in the news. I want you to remember that understanding natural speech is not about understanding every single syllable. It is about understanding the message. The fillers are the packaging, the wrapping paper. You need to unwrap the message to get to the gift inside. Do not get distracted by the wrapping paper. Focus on the nouns, the verbs, and the adjectives. Those carry the meaning. The rest is just the music of the language. Let's try a final quick practice. I am going to describe a simple object, but I will hesitate a lot. See if you can guess what the object is before I finish. Ready? Okay. It is something you use every day. It is small and usually metal or plastic. You keep it in your pocket or your bag. You use it to, like, open doors. Sometimes you lose it and you get really stressed. It has little teeth on it. What is it? Yes, a key. You see? Even with all that hesitation, you still understood perfectly. Your brain is smarter than you think. It fills in the gaps. Now that we have covered the basics, we are going to go deeper. We are going to look at how people use specific words and phrases to soften their opinions, how they change their minds in the middle of a sentence, and how they use fillers to be polite. If you want to reach a B1 level of fluency, you cannot just understand the grammar. You have to understand the feelings behind the words. We are going to start this section by looking at something called hedging. Hedging is when a speaker uses words to make their statement less definite or less strong. In English, being too direct can sometimes sound rude. So, we use little phrases to make what we say sound softer, more like a suggestion than a command. When you are listening, you might hear someone say, "It is kind of cold," or "It is a bit expensive." These words, kind of and a bit, are fillers that change the meaning slightly. They tell you the speaker is not 100% sure, or they are being careful not to offend you. Let's listen to a conversation between two new friends, Ben and Chloe. They are standing in front of a cinema, looking at the movie posters. They are trying to decide what to watch, but they have very different tastes. Listen to how they use fillers to disagree without being rude. Ben points at a poster for an action movie and says, "What about this one? It looks, really exciting. Lots of explosions and, car chases." Chloe makes a face and shakes her head slightly. She says, "I don't know, Ben. It looks sort of violent. I was, hoping for something like a bit more romantic. Or maybe a comedy. Ben sighs and crosses his arms. Romance? Really? I mean, those movies are, usually so boring. But I guess if you really want to. Chloe smiles and touches his arm. Oh, come on. It won't be that bad. And, the action movie is like 3 hours long. That is, that is a bit too long for me. Did you hear how Chloe handled the disagreement? When she said the movie looked sort of violent, the phrase sort of is very important. It softens her criticism. She didn't say, this movie is terrible. She said it is sort of violent. She also used a bit more romantic. She is expressing her preference, but making it sound small and manageable. Ben uses I guess when he says, I guess, if you really want to. This is a classic hesitation. It means he is agreeing, but he is not happy about it. He is hesitating because he wants to see the action movie. As a listener, if you hear I guess, you should understand that the person is agreeing reluctantly. Now, let's move to a different scenario. We often hear fillers on the telephone. When we cannot see the person's face, we use more sounds to show that we are still there, that we are still listening. We need to fill the silence so the other person knows we haven't hung up. Let's listen to a phone call between Karen and Daniel. Karen is calling Daniel to ask for help with a project. The phone rings, and Daniel picks up. Hello? Karen replies. Hi, Daniel. It is Karen. How are you? Daniel sounds busy. Oh, hi, Karen. I am okay. Just, working on some stuff. What is up? Karen takes a deep breath. Well, I was, wondering if you could, help me with the presentation. I am sort of stuck on the last part. Daniel is silent for a moment. Then he says, Right. The presentation. When is it due? Karen answers quickly. It is, due tomorrow morning. I know it is, short notice, but, I would really appreciate your help. Daniel sighs loudly. Tomorrow? Okay. Well, I guess I can spare an hour, but, I can't stay all night. Karen sounds relieved. Oh, thank you. That is, amazing. Thank you so much. In this phone conversation, notice how Daniel uses right and okay as fillers. Right. The presentation. He is buying time to think. He is processing the request. Karen uses, I was wondering if. This is a very polite way to ask a question. It sounds softer than, can you help me? She also uses short notice and apologizes, I know it is, short notice. This is a social filler. It shows she knows she is asking for a favor at the last minute. Let's talk about another type of hesitation. The restart. This happens when a speaker starts a sentence, stops, and starts again with different words. This happens often when we are searching for the right word, or when we want to correct ourselves. For a listener, this can be confusing because you hear the beginning of a sentence that doesn't end. But you must learn to ignore the first part and focus on the second part. Let's meet Greg and Nina. They are sitting at a kitchen table planning a holiday. Greg is looking at a laptop screen, and Nina is drinking tea. Greg says, I was thinking we could go to, no, wait, maybe not Spain. It is, too hot. How about Italy? Nina looks up from her cup. Italy? That sounds nice. But, isn't it expensive? Really expensive? Greg rubs his chin. It can be, yeah. But if we go in September, it is sort of cheaper. And the weather is, still good. Nina nods slowly. Okay. So, Italy in September. I like that idea. But we need to book the flights soon. Otherwise, the price will, like, double. Listen closely to Greg's first sentence. I was thinking we could go to, no, wait, maybe not Spain. He completely changes his mind. If you were listening, you might start thinking about Spain. But then he switches to Italy. You have to be flexible. You have to let go of Spain immediately. He also uses no, wait as a signal. This is a very useful phrase. It tells the listener, stop thinking about what I just said. I am changing it. Nina does a similar thing later. But we need to book the flights soon. She stumbles over need to, and then restarts the phrase to book the flights. The meaning is clear, but the path there is a little bumpy. Now, I want to introduce you to a very common filler word that can be tricky. Actually. This word is used a lot in British and American English. It can mean really, but often it is used to correct someone or to give a surprising piece of information. Sometimes it softens a disagreement. Let's listen to Robert and Mrs. Higgins. Robert is a young man looking for an address, and Mrs. Higgins is an older woman walking her dog. Robert stops her politely. Excuse me? Sorry to, bother you. I am looking for, High Street. Is it this way? Mrs. Higgins smiles and stops. She thinks for a second. High Street? Oh, well, actually, you are going the wrong way. You need to, turn around. It is, behind you. Robert looks confused. Oh, really? But my map says, it is straight on. Mrs. Higgins laughs kindly. I know what the map says, love, but, there is construction work. So, actually, the road is closed. You have to, like, go down the side street there. Robert blushes. Ah, I see. Thank you. I didn't know that. Mrs. Higgins waves as she walks away. No problem. Have a good day. Here, actually, is used to correct Robert's mistake gently. Actually, you are going the wrong way. It is not rude. It is just a fact. If she said, you are wrong, it would sound harsh. By adding actually, it sounds more helpful. She also uses it again. So, actually, the road is closed. This adds new information that changes the situation. When you hear actually, perk up your ears. It usually means something important or corrective is coming next. Let's try to understand the emotion behind fillers. Fillers are not just about thinking, they are about feeling. If someone says, I am, fine, the hesitation might tell you they are not fine. If someone says, it is kind of interesting, they might mean it is actually boring. The tone of voice combined with the hesitation changes the meaning. Imagine a conversation between a boss, Mr. Evans, and his employee, Sam. Sam is late for work. Mr. Evans is not happy. Mr. Evans is sitting at his desk when Sam rushes in. Sam says, Sorry, I am late. The traffic was, terrible. Mr. Evans does not look up from his papers. He says slowly, Sam, this is the, third time this week. Sam looks nervous. I know. And I am, really sorry. It won't happen again. Mr. Evans finally looks up. He says, It better not. Because, we really need people to be on time, you know? Sam nods quickly. Absolutely. I understand. In this serious context, the fillers make the speech heavier. When Mr. Evans says, This is the, third time, the hesitation shows he is trying to control his anger. He is pausing to choose the right words so he doesn't shout. When he says, you know, at the end, he is checking for agreement, but it is a rhetorical question. He expects Sam to know. The tension is in the pauses. As a listener, you should feel that the slow, hesitant speech here means serious business, unlike the fast, happy ums and ahs we heard earlier. We should also talk about the phrase, you know. We mentioned it briefly, but it is worth looking at again. It is the chameleon of English fillers. It can mean, do you understand? It can mean, I am about to explain something, or it can just mean nothing at all. It is like a verbal tick. Let's listen to two students, Jenny and Luke, studying in a library. They are whispering. Jenny is reading a history book. She whispers, "This chapter is so hard. I, can't understand the dates." Luke looks over. "Which part? The part about the war?" Jenny nods. "Yeah, it is, just too many names. I get, confused." Luke smiles. "Well, if you make a timeline, it helps. I mean, that is what I did." Jenny looks surprised. "Really? Did it work?" Luke nods. "Yeah, you should, try it." Here, Jenny uses to share her feeling. It is, just too many names. She is assuming Luke agrees or understands the feeling of being overwhelmed. Luke uses to give advice. "Well, if you make a timeline." It is a soft way to start a suggestion. He is not commanding her to do it. He is proposing it. Now, let's meet one last pair for this section. Their names are Oliver and Grace. They are at a gym, tired after a workout. They are out of breath, which naturally causes more hesitation because they are physically tired. Oliver is drinking water. He says, that was a hard class." Grace is wiping her face with a towel. She pants, "Oh my God. Yes, my legs are like jelly. I don't think I can, walk to the car." Oliver laughs. "I know, I am sort of dying, but, it feels good, right?" Grace nods. "Yeah, it does. But, I am not coming tomorrow. I need a rest day." Oliver agrees. "Same. I will just, sleep." Physical tiredness makes us stutter and pause more. Oliver says, "I am sort of dying." It is an exaggeration, but sort of softens it so it sounds funny, not scary. Grace says, "My legs are like jelly." Like here is introducing a simile, comparing her legs to jelly, but it is also a filler. It is doing double duty. We have come a long way together. Now, we are going to step it up a gear. Today, we are going to face the most challenging part of natural speech: speed, interruptions, and vague endings. Have you ever been in a conversation where two people are talking so fast they seem to be finishing each other's sentences? Or maybe you have heard someone end a sentence with "or something" and wondered what that actually means. By the end of this session, these fast patterns will start to make sense, and you will feel much more confident keeping up with the pace of native speakers. We are going to start by looking at a very common way people end their sentences when they are not sure about the details or when they simply do not want to be specific. In English, we often add little tags to the end of sentences like "or something," or "whatever," or "and stuff." These phrases act like a bucket for any extra details that the speaker is too lazy or too unsure to mention. When you hear them, you should understand that the speaker is being general. Let's listen to a conversation between two friends, Liam and Mia. They are talking about a dinner party they went to last night. Liam is eating a sandwich and talking with his mouth full, which makes his speech even less clear. Liam says, "The food was okay, I guess. We had, some pasta dish. It had, tomatoes and spinach, or something. I didn't really catch the name." Mia is drinking a coffee and nodding. She replies, "Yeah, I remember Sarah made that last year. It's Er, it's usually pretty good. Did she make that cake? You know, the chocolate one with the cream? Liam swallows and thinks, oh yeah, that is right. It was, chocolate and vanilla? Or maybe it was just chocolate. I don't know. It had some sweet stuff on top. Whatever. It was nice. Did you hear how Liam used or something and whatever when he said it had tomatoes and spinach or something? He is telling you that those are the main ingredients, but there might be others he doesn't remember. Or something covers his memory gap. Later, when he says, it had some sweet stuff on top, whatever, the word whatever shows he doesn't think the detail is important. He is dismissing the need to be precise. As a listener, you don't need to know exactly what was on the cake. You just need to know it was sweet and it was good. Focusing on the main idea helps you ignore these vague endings. Now, let's move on to a faster pace. When people get excited or emotional, they speak faster. They also start to link words together. Sometimes, they even interrupt each other. This can be a nightmare for learners because you don't get a clean start and finish to every sentence. But this is real life. People talk over each other when they are engaged. Let's listen to a brother and sister, Harry and Charlotte. They are trying to decide what movie to watch, and they are both getting excited and arguing playfully. The energy is high. Harry holds up a remote control. Come on, Charlotte. Let's watch the new superhero movie. I heard it is, amazing. The effects are… Charlotte interrupts him immediately. No way. I saw the trailer and it looked so boring. Just explosions and noise. I want to watch the mystery one. Harry rolls his eyes. The mystery one? Are you kidding? That is for old people. It's so slow. And I mean, who watches black and white movies anymore? Charlotte puts her hands on her hips. I do. It is called culture, Harry. You wouldn't understand. Harry sighs dramatically. Fine, but if I fall asleep, you are carrying me to bed. Charlotte laughs. Deal. But seriously, just give it a chance. It is, sort of, a detective story. You'll like it, I think. In this dialogue, notice the interruption. Harry starts to say, the effects are… But Charlotte jumps in with, no way. She doesn't wait for him to finish. In a textbook, everyone takes turns. In real life, excitement creates overlap. You have to be ready for the topic to change instantly. Also, listen to Charlotte's use of seriously. But seriously, just give it a chance. This is a filler used to show sincerity. She wants him to know she is being honest now. When you hear seriously or honestly, it is usually a signal that the speaker is about to give their true opinion. Let's explore another phrase that acts as a hesitation device. You know what I mean? This is very popular. It is often used at the end of a sentence to check if the listener understands the feeling behind the words, not just the facts. It creates a connection. Meet two colleagues, Ethan and Sophia. They are taking a break at work and complaining about their boss. Ethan is leaning against a wall, looking tired. He says, I have been working on this report for 5 hours, and he keeps coming in and changing things. It is so frustrating, you know what I mean? Sophia nods sympathetically. She takes a sip of water. Oh, totally. I was in the same meeting yesterday. He talked for 2 hours and said nothing. It is like he just likes the sound of his own voice, you know? Ethan laughs. Exactly. And then he looks at us like we are the ones who are confused. I mean, come on, give us a break. Sophia shakes her head. I don't know how much more I can take. I am, actually thinking about looking for a new job. Maybe. Here, Ethan says, it is just, it is so frustrating. You know what I mean? He isn't asking Sophia if she knows the definition of frustrating. He is asking if she shares the feeling of frustration. He wants her to agree with his emotion. Sophia replies with, you know, at the end of her turn. It is short for, you know what I mean? It is a way of building rapport. When you hear these phrases, the speaker is inviting you into their circle. They are saying, we are in this together. Now, let's look at a situation where someone is trying to remember a word, but they just can't find it. This is called a lexical search, and it happens to everyone, native speakers included. When we can't find a word, we often describe it instead. As a listener, you have to do the work of guessing the word from the description. Let's listen to an elderly man, Mr. Arthur, talking to his grandson, Leo. They are in a garage looking at tools. Mr. Arthur is holding a strange metal object. He says, Leo, hand me that thing. You know, the metal tool, the one that turns the round things to make them tight. Leo looks around the messy table. He picks up a screwdriver. This? Mr. Arthur shakes his head. No, not that. The other one. It is, it has a handle and a kind of hook. It is for, like, gripping pipes. Leo smiles and picks up a wrench. You mean the wrench? Mr. Arthur snaps his fingers. That is it, the wrench. I knew the word. It was, right on the tip of my tongue. This is a great exercise for your brain. Mr. Arthur described the function. Turns the round things, make them tight, and the shape, handle, and a kind of hook. Leo had to ignore the hesitation and focus on the description. If you are listening and someone stops like this, don't panic. Listen to the description they give after the pause. Usually, the description tells you everything you need to know. Another way speakers hesitate is by using well or so at the start of an answer. These words are like a launch pad. They give the speaker time to formulate their answer. Imagine a job interview. This is a high-pressure situation, so you will hear a lot of hesitation. The interviewer is a manager named Brenda, and the candidate is a young woman named Chloe. Brenda asks a tough question. Tell me about a time you made a mistake at work. Chloe takes a deep breath. She looks nervous. She says, well, that is a good question. Let me see. I think, there was one time at my last job, I sent an email to the wrong person. It was like a big mistake. Brenda nods encouragingly. And how did you fix it? Chloe continues. So, I went to my manager immediately. I told her what happened. And, we wrote an apology email together. It was, scary, but I learned a lot. Let's try to distinguish between a hesitation and a thinking pause. Sometimes a speaker stops not because they forgot a word, but because they are deciding if they should say something at all. This is a discretionary pause. Imagine a married couple, David and Emma. They are in a car, lost. David is driving, and Emma is holding a map. David says, I think we should have turned left at that last light. Emma looks at the map and frowns. She hesitates. I am not sure. The map says... She stops talking. David looks at her. What? What does the map say? Emma pauses again. She doesn't want to make him angry. She says, it says, that we are going the wrong way. But, maybe the map is old? David sighs. Great. Just great. Emma's hesitation at the beginning, I am not sure, is not because she doesn't know the word for unsure. She is hesitating because she knows David is annoyed, and she doesn't want to make it worse. She is measuring her words. When you hear this kind of hesitation, pay attention to the tone. Is it confusion, or is it caution? Understanding the emotion helps you understand the situation better. Now, I want to talk about filler clusters. Sometimes when a person is very nervous, they might use 2 or 3 fillers in a row. It sounds like, like, it can sound messy, but it is very human. Let's listen to a young man named Tom asking a girl named Sophie for a date. He is very shy. Tom is standing in front of Sophie, clutching his books. He looks terrified. He says, "Hi, Sophie. So, I was, wondering if, maybe you would, want to go to the movies with me on Friday?" Sophie looks up and smiles warmly. She can see he is nervous. She says, "Oh, hi, Tom. That sounds, really fun. Yeah, I would like that." Tom looks surprised and happy. "Really? Oh, wow. Okay, great. I will text you. Maybe." Sophie laughs gently. "Okay, I will, wait for your text." Tom uses a cluster. So, I was, wondering if, it is a chain of sounds. If you try to translate every sound, you will get lost. You just need to wait for the verb. Wondering if you would like to go. That is the core. Sophie also uses fillers, but more softly. That sounds really fun." She repeats, "that sounds," to correct her rhythm. This is a very common pattern. Repeat the start of the sentence to gain confidence. So, how can you practice this at home? I want you to try an exercise called the shadowing technique. This is where you listen to a native speaker, maybe in a movie or a podcast, and you try to repeat exactly what they say, immediately after they say it. Do not pause the audio. Try to copy their speed, their pauses, and their ums. If they say you say This helps your mouth get used to the physical feeling of hesitating in English. It trains your rhythm. Let's do a quick shadowing exercise together right now. I will say a sentence with fillers, and I want you to repeat it out loud exactly as you hear it. Focus on the flow, not just the words. Here we go. I was, thinking about, going to the, store later. Do you, want to come with? I mean, only if you are, free. Did you try it? It feels strange to say, on purpose, doesn't it? But it helps you understand that these sounds are just part of the rhythm. Before we finish, let's listen to one final fast-paced conversation. This is between 2 roommates, Jack and Noah, who are cooking dinner together. They are in a rush. Jack is chopping vegetables, and Noah is stirring a pot. Jack says, "Pass me the salt, please. It is, right there." Noah looks around. "Where? I don't see it." Jack points with his knife. "There, next to the pepper. Just move the towel." Noah moves the towel. "Oh, yeah, got it. Here. So, did you call the landlord about the broken heater?" Jack keeps chopping. "Yeah, I did this morning. He said he will, send someone on Tuesday. Hopefully." Noah stirs the sauce faster. "Tuesday? That is, 5 days away. It is freezing in here." Jack laughs. "I know. We can, use extra blankets for now. It is not the end of the world." Noah sighs. "I guess. But, I am not happy about it." This conversation is full of false starts and corrections. It is, right there. I don't see it. Just move the towel. They are coordinating a physical task while talking, so their brains are busy. The speech is fragmented. But if you focus on the keywords, salt, pepper, landlord, heater, Tuesday, blankets, you understand the story perfectly. You do not need to process the grammar perfectly to understand the meaning. We have covered a lot of ground together today. We learned that kind of and a bit soften opinions. We learned that I guess shows reluctant agreement. We learned that actually introduces corrections or new facts. We learned that no, wait signals a restart. We looked at vague endings like or something, and we practiced listening to interruptions and fast speech. We looked at you know what I mean and how it builds connection. We learned how to guess words when people forget them, and we looked at how people start answers with well or so. We even practiced the shadowing technique. My final piece of advice for you is to be patient with yourself. Listening to natural, fast English is hard. It is a skill that takes time. Do not get upset if you miss a word or if a conversation goes too fast. Just catch the float, the general direction of the speech, and let the rest flow past you. The more you expose yourself to real English with all its imperfections, the easier it will become. Thank you so much for joining me for this extended practice on English in fluency. I am Alex, and I love helping you on this journey. If you are finding these lessons helpful, please give this video a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. And make sure you are subscribed so you do not miss the next part of this series. Leave a comment below and tell me if you have ever tried shadowing. How did it feel? Or tell me about a time you got confused by a filler word. Let's help each other out. Keep practicing, keep listening, and remember, every pause is an opportunity to learn. I will see you in the next video. Take care.